Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Marvel Rivals Championship game. We are still in our lower bracket quarterfinals, our second one. Who will be moving on to that lower bracket semi-final to play against the mighty XOXO01 who have fought their way through, and who will be eliminated and have to try again in Season 2, which is around the corner at the time of me recording this. Lots of hype to go. These teams are rushing through this bad phase. Legit L versus Lobelia here. And we have Hawkeye, we have Psylocke, and we have Star-Lord. All taken out a triple duelist ban, with Hela getting protected. We still have Winter Soldier and Namor, both available though, so we could see a quadruple duelist ban. We are all in on the damage dealers right now.
Pick your hero.
The only non-DPS in this ban phase is Adam Warlock, and even they are sort of a pseudo-duelist with the hit scan and the burst damage that Quantum Magic and Cosmic Cluster do deal. But this does mean that Namor and Lunar Snow are both available. This is a best out of 5. Winner heads on to that lower bracket semi-final, which will be tomorrow's game. Then we will have the upper bracket final, lower bracket final, and grand final before moving on to NA, being our second region we will be covering from the round of 8 onwards. And then, of course, we'll be moving on to console. Shout out in the comments if you're hyped for the console play, if you're a console player and are hyped for that coverage as we begin to get ready to introduce our teams.
What concerns you so?
Just making sure that I have all the names correct. Huntley Road, double checking. And then on the right, I'm pretty sure that is Grapefruit. I am correct. Hooray! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 on the left-hand side. It is Legit L with Bibiak playing the Namor. We have Rose fans on the Lunar Snow. November 24 is on Adam Warlock. Rebasuko will be playing the Magneto. Hanlu Road is going to be... What is that noise? Well, it's gone now, so sorry about that, audience. We have Hanlu Road playing the Groot. Seong Hoon will be busting out the Mantis here. That is Legit L. On the right, Lobelia. And playing for them, we have Onsenare playing the Doctor Strange. ADOS will be playing Lunar Snow. Felix is on that Namor. Solmid on the Mantis here. Rocco is bringing out the Adam Warlock. And we have Grapefruit playing the Magneto. Very similar draft from these teams as down goes Grapefruit, and we will see Legit L claiming the aggressive positioning, trying to chase back Felix, which they will pick up here. Very similar compositions, with the only difference, in fact, being on Onsenare on that Doctor Strange, and Hanlu Road playing the Groot. Everything else is identical. Both teams with the triple strategist setup, running the Mantis, Lunar Snow, and Adam Warlock to empower the Namor with that Lunar Snow. Piling on the pressure, taking a big hit from Felix there, being forced to back away up to the high ground. Felix now looking to try and go for some counter pickups, try and take out some of those frontliners. Straggling Prison is going to be dropped here from Hanlu Road, but there's the Horde of Proteus into the backline, taking out ADOS, removing a big chunk of that healing media M coming in from Rip Asuko, taking out Onsenare. And we are seeing Legit L keeping control right now. They're driving back the members of Lobelia. Felix has fallen, down goes Solmid and Grapefruit. Legit L holding on 55% right now. We've got a couple players from second place teams, a couple players from third place teams, a couple players from top 64. There are some incredible players on both of these teams, and now both of them are forced to fight for their tournament lives. Hanlu Road setting up some walls, giving them an opportunity to try and go up that self-made ramp to make their way up to the high ground if they need to go for a wraparound. Great Wall isolating Strange, trying to focus them in the corner away from their strategist to try and prevent any healing from coming in. Cloak of Levitation, but it's not enough. Bibiak picking up a double elimination here. Trying to get onto ADOS. Finds the final hit, and down goes Magneto as well with Grapefruit taken out. That is round number 1. Oncenere will not have Portal back in time. Round 1 goes over to Legit L. That was fast. Barely any contesting there. That was just a dominant performance by Legit L. They'll be setting themselves up for round number 2 of game number 1. Let's talk about the journey these teams took to get here. We start off with Lobelia. Lobelia, very experienced players, really a lot of pedigree on this team. They made their way in through the upper bracket. They took a 3-2 versus Betrays before making their way on to that upper bracket semi-finals, where they were sent down to the lower bracket by Need Sponsor, aka Genji Academy. After being sent down to the lower brackets, they found themselves here, so they've not had to play a lower bracket game as of yet. Legit L, they also started in the upper bracket, but they were sent down in the quarterfinals, also by Need Sponsor, the previous Genji Academy. They sent Legit L down to the lower bracket round 11, when they took a 3-2 versus Eternity Era. Then a 3-2 versus Betrays. They have had to fight tooth and nail just to get here. They are still fighting. Legit L have had quite the journey to get here. Dodging the Horde of Proteus with the Aquatic Blessing here. Bibiak sending shots down range, trying to get onto ADOS. 2 hits, looking for the 3rd, can't find it. Soulbond comes out to try and protect from the Eye of Agamotto. Media M from Rip Asuko, completely blocked off, finds nothing, strangling Prison to try and shut him down. Horde of Proteus from Bibiak will shut down Rocco, but there's going to be the fate of both worlds to try and turn this fight in their favor. Pushing on in, trying to get onto Asuko. Rose fans now with their own fate of both worlds to turn this fight in their favor. Jeong Hood revives with the Cocoon. Media M from Grapefruit directly onto Rose fans to take them down. Karmic Revival will bring them back though, as November going to try and contest this Soul Bond so they can try and push on out here. Currently, Lobelia are the ones in control, but they are down in terms of numbers. Their Karmic Revival has already expired, and they're still getting picked off. Legit L waiting a little bit longer with their ultimates, and it works out in their favor, as with that damage from the Moor, they melt through the backline. Viviak will not be able to chase down onto ADOS. ADOS will escape here. The Legit L have reclaimed control. The adjustment, Grapefruit, moved on to the Groot. Oncenere sticking with that Doctor Strange. It's a big favorite of theirs. Putting a little bit of pressure on right off the bat here. Shots coming in. Taking a lot of damage, but the strategists are here, keeping them healed up. Bibiak, for the moment, getting big damage. This is why we're seeing Grapefruit getting whittled down so hard. Oceanic Dominions on multiple flanks, and then taking out the group wall so that they have the good angles here. Both teams, in fact, dropping group walls for the moment. Aquatic Blessing up to the high ground. We're not really threatened, just to try and get some elevation so they can get some good damage over these walls. For now, going to be turning on. Horde of Proteus once again picks up a double and then sniping a triple onto Solmin, looking for the Doctor Strange as well. Rocco, Karmic Revival will bring back the team though. It's a 5-man revive as they try to make their way back up to the point of contest. Legit L have taken the lead here. Lobelia still trying to contest, still trying to make their way back in. Soul Rejuvenation coming in from Solmin. Felix needs to start landing some eliminations here. Fate of both worlds chained at the end of the Soul Rejuvenation. They're actually staggered, so they're both at the same time. Great dodge by Felix. Doing some good damage. November was one to fall, but they have Cocoon. They can bring themselves back into the fight if they wish. Down goes Hard New Road. November will return up to the high ground. They almost have ultimate. If they can just get a little bit more charge, they might be able to get back Hard New Road. Looks like Hard New Road will be forced into the full respawn. And November getting pressured. No way they're going to ult here. They're just going to get taken down. And we will see legit L back up and wait to reset. And Namor has been abandoned. Felix has decided that Hela is what they need to close this out. Portal! Surprise! Down they go! That is an incredible engage. Rip Asuko directly into the face of Felix. And now with the main damage dealer gone, with a man advantage, a brutal pusher coming in for legit L. They take down Grapefruit. They get Felix again. Rocco is down. ROS with the fate of both worlds to try and hold this. But that was a brutal engage. Pushing on in, Horde of Proteus at the ready. They're going to try and wait it out. See if they can get the good angle. Wait for that final push. Taken down, though, actually. But November, they have the tools needed, and they're down as well. We're seeing Lobelia. They're bringing it back. Starting to try and turn this round, but they're running out of people. Finally, on Ray is taken down, and Rose fans helping clean that up. It's going to be a 2-0 for legit L in this first game of the series. Big win. Hanlu Road takes the MVP. Well deserved. Putting on some great work, isolating some of the members of Lobelia. Giving positioning over to legit L, allowing them control over this game. Onsen Ray, they love their Doctor Strange and it's working out for them. They got great damage, great final hits. They absorbed load of damage, highest in the game. But it did not turn into a victory here. Let's have a look at some of these statistics. Most eliminations going to be 30 by Bibiak. No surprise there. Only one more, though, than Asuko, and only 3 more than Hanlu Road. And that is the same amount in terms of final hits. Only 3 more with 13, with both Hanlu Road and Asuko getting 10. It still shocks me. I'll complain about this until every cow comes home. The fact that in ranked on this game, people still think it's better to pick 1 tank and 3 DPS when the tanks are more than capable of getting as much damage and as many eliminations as the damage dealers, almost on a consistent basis, is wild to me. Stop picking solo tank. Learn tanks. They're really good. What is wrong with you? We're getting ready for map number 2, but let's talk about the rest of these statistics. We have only 1 elimination for Asuko, Hanlu Road, and Rose fans. All the sustain coming in there. Top damage. Gonna be very close, but it's gonna be sniped by Hanlu Road, beating out Bibiak by 400 here. Barely anything in it. That Groot damage can really stack up if you place those walls correctly. Damage blocked. 28k for Hanlu Road will be beaten down by Onsen Ray. We already talked about how they were able to just absorb so much for their team, really try to bring it back as best as they could. And the healing. Top strategist, 27k for ADOS, beating out Rose fans by 2k. Not much in it at all there. Kept it pretty even. Solman beat out Seong Hun by just about 600. But Rocco did beat out November in terms of healing by about 2k, but lost in terms of damage by about 2k. So you see November a little bit more aggressive here when compared to Rocco. But that's it for game number 1. We're going to get ourselves set up for map number 2. Reminder to like, comment, subscribe. Be like our members, Roshua, Doki Loki, and of course, Josh. John. Why do I keep going? I keep saying Joshua. I keep saying Roshua and John, and I keep saying Josh. Apologies, John. They're our longest running member. I will make extra effort to make sure that it is said correctly. But wow. Getting ourselves set up for map number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, no, this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger, thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with map number 2. We are heading in to Spider Islands for our second map of the series. Legit L still on the left, Lobelia still on the right. We have Hawkeye taken out by Legit L. Lobelia took away the Groot. A little bit too rough to deal with Hardly Road there. As Adam Warlock will be protected by Legit L. It went very well for them last time, so they're just going to bring it back. Now Lobelia. What is their choice? What do they wish to protect? What's going well for them? They don't protect at all. They hide strategy. Not really afraid of anything being banned out. Just trying to keep some hidden strategy here. That or Felix went to the bathroom. We're going to see no more taken out here. Bibiak doing a little too much work here. And there's the response by Legit L. They know Felix is an absolute god-like Hella, so they're going to take that away. And immediately it's going to be a Star-Lord composition for both teams here. With Bibiak going on to their Star-Lord. Felix going to be matching them. Rocket currently being hovered by ADOS, but that's likely due to a Rocket's packed lunch to armor them up before they begin to push in. Just currently hovering Rocket and Jeff. I doubt we're going to be seeing that. Although, who knows? There's always a chance. Yep, there we go. That's a little more like it. And then we'll almost certainly see Seung Hoon swap onto their classic standard of Mantis. These teams, once again, look like they're going to enter into identical territory here. Rocco going to be the one bringing out the Star-Lord here. Not going to be Felix. Felix has moved on to Magneto. Go for a little bit of role swaps here, Lobelia. So Rocco on the Star-Lord. Grapefruit is on the Adam Warlock. Onsen Ray is still sticking with Doctor Strange. And ADOS will be onto that Lunar Snow. The comps are exactly the same, but the players have differentiated. Let's see what Rocco can do. Might just be a preference choice here. If they are the better Star-Lord player, they may have mixed it up that way. We'll keep an eye on them. As Bibiak going in for the duel right off the bat. Invincibility frames from both Star-Lords as they try to play mobile and get some duels going in here. Blaster barrages from both sides. And Bibiak is actually coming out a little bit down here. Will get taken out first as Rocco wins the first duel. Comes into the back, doing big damage in the backline. Cocoon will bring back Bibiak. But we are seeing Lobelia taking the duels here. They are eliminating one after the other. they're going to take the first fight in convincing fashion and begin pushing into point number 1. Rocco already in this backline, causing a little bit of pressure. Portal coming in here. Asuko taking the team up to the high ground so they can drop in for a defense here. Trying to pile a little bit of pressure on. Taking a lot of damage. Asuko is healed up to full though. Not a huge issue. Bibiak, Galactic Legend, but there's so much healing with this triple strategist. So they try to turn their attention onto Onset Array. Good roll to avoid that maelstrom of magic to try and blast onto it with the Blaster Mirage. Focus down, healed up though. So much sustained, but here comes Rocco. Have they timed this well with the end of it here as we can see Loki has entered the board for Seong Hoon. Meteor M takes out November and Lobelia are snowballing through this with almost no breaks. Seong Hoon moving off of the Mantis. They're bringing out the Loki here. And they do have that God of Mischief going in for the Lunar Snow copy here. They've decided that instead of the Mantis and those extra revives, they're going to go for that extra Fate of both worlds and the potential for extra revives if they do clone it Adam Warlock. Adam West going to match, but a little bit later, so time-wise is in their favor. Rocco got eliminated and returns with the Cocoon. On Array, very far forward, trying to get onto that backline and will do so. Rose fans, though, staggering this together. Seong Hoon revived as Karmic Revival comes out, and that's going to be enough to put a stop to Lobelia's push here. But that's a lot of ultimates burned as Lobelia will back up. They're going to be able to reset and re-push in here. They have 1 minute 20 left. They do have time for another portal. But it's going to be really close. They're going to be able to move in on foot. It's unlikely we'll see the portal just due to how close the timings work out. But it is possible. Magnetic Bulwark. And the Metallic Curtain to try and push on in. Asuko, 48 seconds on their own portal. Also, with 10-second gap, could use it to try and wall off some engage points here. Up to the high ground. Rocco, Galactic Legend, to try and take out the backliners here. You can see Ripasco taking a lot of damage here. Aya Magamoto from Onsenere, but they get wiped by the Meteor M here as Legit L are holding the line for the moment. Meteor M coming in from Phoenix to try and get a counter pick up and finds no one. Aya Magamoto from Ripasuko for a stun up, takes out Solman. Pushing on forward. Phoenix is now outnumbered. Fate of both worlds to try and bring them in though. Bibiak has their own Galactic Legend, could try and go for a counter engage here. Once their Fate of both worlds expires, they drop it a little bit at the end. It's not perfectly timed, but it is good. That's going to be a great soul bond, but it's not enough. Melting the backline here, and with 6 seconds left, Onsenere taken down means they won't have a portal to time. Felix is taken out, and we're going to see the defense by Legit L before point number 1. 107 meters for Lobelia. Just under 50 centimeters. Can Legit L beat that? Lobelia, do they adjust their defensive position at all? Seong Hoon with that quick swap onto Loki worked out in their favor. They were able to turn that game around. Get those extra Fate of both worlds, really keeping them on the board here. Full Adam Warlock team? Cool. I am not complaining. I love Adam Warlock. I did look up to see like how much it would cost for like an Adam Warlock cameo to like shout out the channel or something like that, or to just like do a little introduction to the videos. But yeah, that costs a lot of money. Like, that is hundreds of dollars, and I make about $300, like, most weeks, like, on a good week, on a good month, sorry, not week, from YouTube ads. Thanks to everyone for their support. So, yeah, I'm not going to be affording that when groceries need to be purchased. That is not happening. The dollar is not holding up very well against the pound right now, and I am paid in dollars. Seong Hoon starting on the Scarlet Witch so that Honlu Road can activate that team up. Needs to activate it like now-ish. No, they didn't activate it in time. Don't get the team up at all. Begin to push in. Felix already taken down, will revive here. They've swapped it over. Felix is now on the Star-Lord, and Rocco is back on Magneto. On Ceneray is on the Adam Warlock, which means we have Grapefruit on Doctor Strange. This team is just rotating through roles. Solomon and Adowest, the only people who've stuck on consistent roles so far. Bibiak gets absolutely melted by Felix, though. November dueling Solomon will take it. And we are seeing Legit L moving very quickly here. This is starting to become quite dangerous. Lobelia, they need to stop this. They're already one map down. It's a best of 5, so they've got a little bit of leeway. But look at this snowball. They're moving so quickly into the backline, taking out the reinforcements as Bibiak wiping them off the board. Spider-Man is forced to come in to try and delay. They're taken down too on Ceneray. Trying to hold the line. Adam Warlock point blank revive attempt. Solomon zoned off the point. Focus down. And they even took out Felix one more time. And that was fast. 107.52. Legit L with a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 series. Bibiak is legitimately one of my favorite players to watch play. And they are showing why in this series as Legit L take another win over Lobelia. And Lobelia, they need to start making these adjustments. They need to do something to try and get themselves back into this because they are now on match point. They could get eliminated. Legit L, one win away from moving on to that lower bracket semi-final. Meaning that the pressure is on. XOXO01 awaiting an opponent. The grand final sits waiting up above. The upper bracket final still to be played. New Moon and Need Sponsor. Need Sponsor having taken down both of these teams at one point or another. They're now just waiting to see if a rematch is possible. We'll have to wait and see. For now, though, we're going to go into a quick break just to make sure I've said the names correctly because they deserve it. Thank you for the support onto the channel. Shout out to the members, Roshula, Doki Pokey, and John. We'll do a double shout out because I absolutely botched it the first time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, help me with the algorithm, help me grow this channel. I do this purely for AdSense. I just told you basically what I make. So you can see that it's not a lot to survive off of, and sometimes, especially around Grand Finals times, I'm doing this casting for like 11 hours a day. I put a lot of time into this. I edit the shorts all myself. I do the thumbnails myself. I had someone create a little background for it, but I make sure I edit all of them myself. I'm a one-man band here, fam. I'm trying my best, so every bit of support is appreciated. I don't get paid by netties, yeah, fingers crossed. I don't have sponsors, yeah, fingers crossed. My email is in the description. I'd love to run a tournament of my own. I've done it before. I'd love to run one in Rivals. Need money for that, and I'm certainly not making enough currently. So any support is appreciated, whether it's monetary or just liking, watching without ad block on or with YouTube Premium, commenting to help with the algorithm. Anything is appreciated. I'm a one-man band just doing this because I love it, but I'd love to make something of this if I can. So it is appreciated. Every tiny bit of help, like sharing, it's all very welcome. For now, though, let's get ourselves set up for map number 3 in this best of 5. Can Legit L close this out, or will Lobelia begin to make a comeback? Find out after this break.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain is overloaded, man, I'm losing it. Don't let them tell you what to do, man, they don't know shit.
creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason.
And we are back with map number 3, Legit L on match point. Lobelia looking to begin a reverse sweep and starting it on Domination, Beard and T'Challa. Groot once again going to be taken out by Lobelia, taking that away from Hanlu Road. Hawkeye removed as well, and once again, the Adam Warlock will be protected for November. Lobelia been going for a couple role swaps in this matchup so far. Will they continue to do so? What is worth protecting? Last time they didn't protect at all. This time they will protect the Hela, leaving that option open for Felix. What's worth the ban here? Star-Lord could be a solid choice. You know that Legit L love that Adam Warlock composition, and it's one of Bibiak's main characters. They take out Strange. Interesting on Senaray. Has been the one leading on the Strange the most, with a little bit of a swap over at one point onto Rocco. Ripasico did bring it out as well, though, and it was very effective, so they'll take that out of action. And Venom will be removed as well.
Hero. Or villain, I'm not judging.
There's that Star-Lord once again, and again they're going to ignore the Mantis. Mantis not going to be in this combo for Legit L. They lead once again onto Loki. Very cool to see. Frontline, Ripasico on that Magneto. Hanlu Road, considering the thing. Interesting. Now we look at Lobelia. They currently have Solmin on that Rocket Raccoon. But I suspect, due to the fact that they currently only have one frontliner, that will probably be swapped. But the question is, Solmin, who's only played strategist this game so far, also not BRBing at all yet, so not even pre-armoring their team up here. We're getting a little bit of a mid-map brawl here. Oh, you can actually damage the turret here. I thought you couldn't damage anything except for the summon. Neat. Iron Fist Brawl! Let's go! Those teams having a little bit of a brawl. There's the BRB. Get a little bit of armor before they make it out the door. No, Solomon's bringing it out. They're going for a 1-2-3. They've run this before, Lobelia, and it did not work. They did lose the rounds they've tried this before, but they're going to try it one more time. Most teams have been leaning on more Vanguards or more Strategists and less Duelists. Lobelia, they are just forcing that extra Duelist onto the board here. Hanlu Road, focus down, retreats up high, needs some healing. Uses Stone Haymakers for that little bit of extra armor, and I cast a curse it. Lobelia taking initial control of the point here. Rocco grabbing a double with a Soul Siphon there. Nicely done. Hanlu Road. Realizing that this team is incredibly squishy and they only have one frontliner, they might as well just run past it. They've brought out Captain America. That Phantom didn't bounce is absolutely BS. Go with the shield tosses. Making their way forward step by step. Piling on the pressure. Good shield bounce. They're really making the most of this. If your opponents are squishy and they only have one frontliner, what do you do when they're run past? The answer is usually just die. Get eliminated. On the road into the backline. November already taken out though. On the road, trying to pile on the pressure here. Trying to get onto those squishier members. Unable to make the full jump though as Kraken Impact comes in. November was taken down but is revived at their own cocoon. Galactic Legend for Bibiak as the Kraken Impact does not reset. Rocco goes down. Solmin, Felix, and it's an absolute massacre. But Felix gets the Karmic Revival off, reviving 3, 4, 5. Keeping the team up, but they just go down again. Felix gets revived by their own cocoon, takes out Bibiak, but Bibiak has a cocoon of their own. On Senaray, Blaster Barrage, chased on down, Media M, and Rose fans getting the final hit. And we've all seen Legit L reclaiming control here. Lobelia up to 80% so far, but Legit L putting a stop to it. Felix showing just how terrifying they are, not just on duelists, but on this Adam Warlock here. Playing it basically like Hela, maximizing damage output. Quantum Magic, a hit scan ability, can do huge damage. Cosmic Cluster is a travel ability. See the DPS output here. Meantime, Hardlu Road trying to deal with that front line, keeping them busy, keeping them zoned. Finds Rocco. Rocco will be an amazing target here. Map heal picked up though, and that's going to be Hardlu Road immediately backing out. Does not want the smoke, but with the flank, Sia has been dropped. Trying to zone, trying to harass, just up and down. Consistent harass. Fate of both worlds to keep them sustained. Meteor M from Oncenere to try and burst through. Great block with the metallic curtain. Assemble comes down from Hardlu Road as they step back onto the point into the backline to deal with the squishy backline members with that extra move speed. Keep them busy. Force the tank to turn around. If Oncenere is forced to try and deal with the cap, they're not dealing with the rest. Meteor M as Asuko takes advantage of the distracted Oncenere and gets the snipe here. November taken out by Rocco, has Cocoon, returns to the fight. Bibiak, Blaster Mirage, Galactic Legend at the ready. Oncenere pushed off the map here by Asuko. The score is evened up 80-80, but Legit L are still in control and still charging. Thorn has made their way onto the board for Lobelia. Oncenere picking something with a little bit of aggro, something that can keep their bodies on the board a little bit longer if Rocco can just land some final hits. Something that can try and knock back Asuko, can maybe knock back Hardlu Road. If you can keep them CC'd, they're going to be less of a threat. Gets frozen out. Gonna retreat. Goddess of Death, Galactic Legend, Bibiak, trying to sidestep, trying to duel, take out the Goddess, will do so. Blaster Mirage, Bibiak takes the duel as they push on in. Oncenere takes out Seong Hun though. Rose fans keeping the team alive. Kraken Impact, this could be the game changer. Rose fans falls, Bibiak falls. Felix getting some eliminations on the board here. November. They have a Karmic Revival, but they're back in Spawn, also taken out. Lobelia on the board, 99 to 91%. This is round 1 of map number 3. And already it feels like a final game here. Hardlu Road will touch the point. Ammo Invention to allow Grapefruit. Maximum damage output. Meteor M, direct hit onto Felix and Grapefruit. God of Thunder comes on in. They give the knockback. Karmic Revival mid-air, but Felix is absolutely bodied off the point here. Down goes the Winter Soldier. Oncenere is zoned off the point. One final knockback, and Solmin is all that's left. They try to run on, but get picked off as the Legit L take round 1 of map 3. Legit L looking for a clean sweep here, not giving a single point over to Lobelia so far. If they can take this, then Lobelia are out and will have to try again in Season 2. The pressure is on. Sending out the BRBs, getting that extra sustain. And we see the adjustment once again. We're back to double Vanguard. Oncenere still on the Thorn, but Grapefruit moving back to the Magneto. Solo DPS Hela here, but they do have Felix, who is essentially a DPS in their own right. Solmin also does some really good damage output on this Mantis. We can actually have a look at that here. Looking at these damage outputs here. Ooh, actually Solmin's been struggling a little bit by the looks of it. Only 500 damage. 7k on Felix though, that's about right. Almost the same as Bibiak. And keeping up with Rocco as well, doing a great job. Big damage numbers though on the frontliners. Asuko, Oncenere, and even Grapefruit. Oh, that was it. Solomon was playing the Rocket Raccoon last game, and it was going to be Grapefruit on the Mantis, so that's why I'm getting mixed up there. November taking a little bit of damage. Assemble at the ready. And what a time to bring out Cap. In the lower bracket, where every map matters, trying to dive into the backline. Pressured by Thorn, who uses the dash fade of both worlds to try and push on through. Mashed by both teams. November will revive. That's a God of Thunder. Finds no one due to the fade of both worlds, sustaining both teams through it as Onsenrai is chased back, healed up, but is getting run down here. No one will fall. Onsenrai finally going to be taken out by Seong-hoon. Pushing forward, dive onto the backline. Beautiful pickup here. And ADOS will fall. And Hanlu Road playing so aggressively here. The charge for freedom has turned into a charge for an absolute containment. There's a joke here that I am not okay with making. We're going to be pulling back. Goddess of Death up to the high ground, trying to take out Bibiak. Media M will block out everything though, completely zoning them off the point here. Rocco pushing forward, trying to get onto it. Here comes the assemble. Trying to get into the backline, trying to find anyone, but they're very mobile. Great evasion here. Media M comes down from Grapefruit to try and absorb. They turn their attention onto the Thor, but into the backline, finding a very grouped up, reviving members here. And it's an absolute annihilation. Lobelia losing 2. A couple do get revived, but the point is being held by legit L, 66%. Finds Rocco. The dive is deep. Amazing pickup. Seong-hoon gets the final blows onto that, who is once again, as we called it, playing like an assassin here. Doing so much damage. Sleep, headshots, and Onsenrai is melted here. Focused out by Magneto, though, healed up to full, tanking through up to the high ground. Landing so many shots here. Felix struggling to find the right angle. Onsenrai realizing that they need to get onto the point because it's already on 94%. So they bring in Spider-Man to touch to try and get overtime, which they will do barely. But Bibiak with the galactic legend here, pushing on in, zoning away, and that is clean. Legit L with a 3-0. They will be moving on to that lower bracket semi-final in convincing fashion. Asuko also brought out Spider-Man right at the end, but looks of it, just so they can get back to the point and try and secure that win. Also, they get the MVP screen. And legit L making a statement here in the lower bracket. Statistics-wise, Asuko, who was on the Magneto most of that game, 22, 11 of which were final hits. Bibiak, though, most eliminations, 30 eliminations, 14 of which were final hits, 3 more than Asuko. Nice play by Hanlu Road, 10k damage. A little bit less than Felix, but still kept the pressure on. Was harassing, was causing issues in the backline, forcing repositioning. The top damage will, of course, go over to Bibiak, 2k more than Onsenrai. Top damage blocked, 30k, Rip Asuko, playing that Magneto. Amazing blocking and top healing by 5k. Rose fans out heals ADOS. Very well played. That is victory claimed by legit L. They will move on to that lower bracket semi, where they will be playing against XOXO01 to decide who moves on to that lower bracket final. This game will be coming up tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you see where XOXO01 versus legit L comes in. Or if you're watching this when it comes out for the general public, if you become a member, then you will be able to have that video available to you right now. And you'll be able to find out who moves on to that lower bracket final tomorrow on lower bracket semi. Day after, upper bracket final. And you know the story from there. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, leave a comment saying what you enjoyed. And I hope you've all had a wonderful day. I have been your caster Tetcher. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.